are you religious or spiritual, or do you have a faith tradition?
Okay,
Because it
so
sounds like
it's gonna get
math could
crazy
be.
now. It's gonna get crazy now.
Okay.
So, first of all, I was raised Baptist, all right,
Of
in the
course.
Baptist
All Black
church,
people.
and then discarded that around age 9 when I was sitting in church. Yeah, this is what happens when you learn math early. This is actually maybe a good example for how I applied it because it gives you better perspective about the reality of the world around you. So for me, when I was sitting in church and I'm looking around and the pastor's, he's really getting into it. He's like, and the Lord said, and on the next day, right? And he's jumping and he's doing 360s and I just look around and I'm like, oh, this is like a show. This is like a show. That's not why I came. Like, I was like, that's not why I'm not interested in coming to a show. I want to actually delve into the deeper questions about humanity, about, life and death and, the big questions. I thought that's what we were doing here. And I was like, okay, we're clearly not doing that here. So after realizing that, once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And, actually had a lot of conflicts with my father specifically about I did not go to church after that again.
He
Um,
let you?
well, he was going to beat my ass, right? When I said no. So I
We
wouldn't
never
say,
got out of church, like ever.
yeah,
I mean, we got out of church when my mom overslept, which is fine. My dad did not go to church. He grew up Catholic. My mom did go to church. She grew up Baptist. And we had to go to church whenever she went to church. And like we never outgrew having to go to church when she went to church. And we all hated it. But I digress. Go
it
ahead.
was the first time I ever put my foot down. The very first time, really.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just not. I saw what it is. I can't now do it, and I was so young, right? Imagine like a little kid telling you that, like, and of course my dad was very religious. And so this was like huge
Ooh,
disrespect
he
for,
failed.
oh, I mean, for him, not just his failure, but like his disappointment is in me as his son was like extreme. And I really feel like
Right.
that.
And probably his fear, because you're going to go to hell now, of course.
Oh yeah, he definitely had fear, but I think it was more. My dad was very authoritarian, and like you just do whatever he says. Like no one says no to him. Like, and so he was not prepared for for this scenario at all. Like he did not really perceive me as the person I was. He still doesn't to this day. So like, I mean, for him this was like so out of left field, like something beyond the scope of his imagination. So but yeah, ultimately that's what happened. I stopped going to church at that time. I kind of reevaluated my beliefs about God and whatnot. And ultimately, fast forward to now, um, I did a lot of different research into different religions, Islam, the Baha'i faith, which actually centers
Mm-hmm.
anti-racism,
Mm-hmm.
and various other religions, Catholicism, of course, the Jewish religion. So ultimately, what I realized is that all of these religions have a lot of similarities and themes in them. And I think that those general themes represent the true nature of God. And then there's a lot of other stuff, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that goes along with it that kind of obscures that. I also think that my mathematics education helped me see through that. Um,
Yeah.
and what it came to make me realize is actually the way that I describe math as absolute truth, that absolute truth literally is God. Absolute truth of the universe. The absolute
And
truth of the
that's what I
universe.
was wondering,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't see how you could have absolute truth in math and the religious God.
Yeah, because it's one and the same. Because it's one and the same. It's just been manipulated over time to make people think of it differently. That's what I've come to believe. That's what I still believe now. I think there's a lot of evidence for that belief and living with that belief. Like, I guess it's hard to explain, but like when you live with that belief, you see material evidence that you're correct about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And of course that's always dangerous, right, because of self-fulfilling prophecies, but it's a little bit different in nature, I would say, than that. I would have to like think a little bit harder about how to give an example, but
Yeah, like I'm not philosophical enough. I kind of think about like I just bought a red car and now I see red cars everywhere type of thing. But I know it's more complex.
yeah, but yeah, that's what I believe. I believe in absolute truth. I talk about it when people bring it up. I believe that is the nature of God, and yeah, I just try to encourage people to not shy away from the truth and accept, because a lot of people out here are lying to themselves, to everybody else, and that could be another way of saying turning away from God, if you think about it. So, yeah, these are my beliefs.
I dig it. I dig it. I don't know what the fuck you talking about as far as math goes. Like, but I get I get that it's bigger. Um, and I understand, like I know that I don't know enough, you know, to even comment on truth. So, but I think it's really cool that you have that,
Thank
and that
you.
you had it so young.
Yeah, it's a very unique experience, like I can actually trace back the decisions that I made that allowed me to have this experience. Like I can trace it all the way back. And so like because I can do that, that's also a thing that I can do because I learned math. Like I can trace back my decision making and my thoughts all the way back to when I was a kid. So I can help other people do that same work as well. And so that's what I do a lot.